All right, so the scores are in. Pokémon Legends Z-A has officially been ranked, well, scored by many game journalists. And I want to look at them today. I want to see where this landed, what people think about the game overall, and what this means for Pokémon Legends and, you know, if you should buy it yourself based on reviews. First of all, I always err on the side of caution when it comes to reviews, because at the end of the day, any game is subjective or objective or whatever the word is. So you might like a game a lot more than some other people. And we can clearly see that's the case with a lot of journalists, because I'm seeing a lot of 90s, seeing a couple 100s. That's rare for a game. And, you know, I'm even seeing as low as like, oh, let's see, like 60, I think I saw. Some people don't even have their review scores up yet, like The Verge or IGN. Actually surprised they're not here. I guess Pokemon didn't give these review codes out early, which that's valid. That actually kind of makes sense. But we're seeing some as low as 60 and the highest is 100. So let's go over them. I like going over these reviews and just seeing what the general idea and thoughts are about the game. It seems like the average is about 80, and the final official score landed at 80. So it's a little bit lower than Pokemon Legends Arceus, which was the last game in the series, which had about 83, I think. But at least there's no negative reviews. That's good. And Pokemon Scarlet and Violet were what? Pokemon Scarlet and Violet were 72 or 70. Oh my goodness, they were even, no, that's the DLC. They were 70. So yeah, we'll start with the two biggest reviews, you could say. First one from VGC at 100%, saying Pokemon Legends Z-A is a grand adventure that once again proves that Legends series is home to the most interesting ideas Game Freak has. It's a game that understands its audience and feels like a love letter to both players who grew up with X and Y, and those who've been here the whole time. The new battle system really worked for me, and the rogue mega battles are bombastic fun, even if, like the traditional turn-based offering, it can get very easy to level up your team. I hope Pokemon Legends series is here to stay. You know what? I do too. I hope they're here to stay as well. I haven't quite played the game, but I mean, most of us know at this point, the game's coming out pretty soon, within 24 hours of me recording this, and it's already out in some regions like, you know, Australia. The Sixth Axis, I've actually never heard of them, says, unlike most recent Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Pokemon Legends Z-A is a game that really holds your attention. The spiritual successor to Legends Arceus, it's learned from the mistakes of the distant past and beautifully show what city life is like in the Pokemon universe. I can see myself playing this for another 100 hours as I finish the Pokedex, shiny hunting, and generally have a great time. This is easily the best Pokemon game on the market. Okay, that's promising. That's promising. But like Screen Rant says, okay, at 90%, it's fun, fresh take on the series formula that really helps Pokemon Z-A set itself apart as one of the best entries yet. Let's go down to one of the lower ones and see why people might not have liked it as much. We have Eurogamer giving it a 60, so the lowest, one of the lowest. Lumio City could do with work, but Pokemon Legends Z-A is much more tightly focused and delightfully goofy return to form, at least by modern Pokemon standards. Let's see if we can get a little more detail out of some of these. While Pokemon Legends series may at first seem eager to break free from the limitations of the mainline episodes, it still falls short of the long-awaited reinvention fans have been hoping for. Z-A shows plenty of good ideas and offers the most engaging battle system the franchise has seen in a long time, but it struggles to make up for the eternal shortcomings. Dull and underwhelming visuals for the modern era, a still overly childish narrative, a glaring lack of personality, and gameplay inconsistencies that gradually erode the experience over time. Sheesh, man! No diehard fans of this series will no doubt overlook these flaws. The average player who only hunts monsters from time to time will find Pokemon Legends Z-A to be a pleasant attempt, but far from essential. Now, I feel like this is going to be more my experience of it so far. Like, I like Pokemon, and I loved Pokemon Legends Arceus, but I really do appreciate the visuals and a good story. Like a childish narrative, that kind of sucks. I can get past it because, you know, it is a game meant to be played for kids, but a glaring lack of personality, But the gameplay inconsistencies that gradually erode the experience over time, I don't actually know what that means. And, you know, maybe I'd obviously know what they were talking about if I went into the full-blown review and look at the full explanation of these things, but like I gotta say, I can get past a lot of it. And as someone who has actually played this, oh yeah, I played this, by the way. I played it on the Switch 2 at PAX West, and I didn't find there to be much improvement over Arceus, but I really did like Arceus, and I think it just depends on who you are and what you like in games. I think, again, like what that one review said, a lot of people won't even care about the story or about the visuals. It's all about the gameplay, and I think, you know, the gameplay is obviously the main the main thing here. I'm actually not surprised that this is at 80%. This makes sense to me. And you know what? I do have to give the game credit. From what it seems, they're innovating with the Pokemon franchise finally. They seem to be really safe in like previous games like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and Arceus. Like they're really safe. They don't really change much. So I love when games like this and like what Pokemon Arceus did, they kind of changed the formula of how we play these Pokemon games. Pokemon Legends Z-A now has a higher focus on battling overall, which isn't always my favorite part of these games. In fact, battling in the mainline games like Scarlet and Violet, I really just genuinely didn't like. I found them so slow. I found them annoying. I found them a little bit confusing if I didn't know what types did which. Like, yes, there was a super effective bar and it tells you what attack is trying against another Pokemon and all that stuff. But I still just found it really boring, and I felt like it was kind of a slog. Obviously, I'm the minority in a lot of what I have to say about the Pokemon franchise, and you know what? I'm fine with that. I know that RPGs aren't the biggest deal for me. I don't always love RPGs, but I can appreciate this faster action-based fighting like, like they've been showing off a lot here. It seems to be even more tight than Legends Arceus. And you know what? If they can adjust the battling to make me enjoy them, that's great. I think I'm going to really enjoy the battling. So far from what I can tell, the graphics, yes, they're not going to be that great, like obviously from the modern era, and I've seen a lot of people say these reviews as well, but I will say, the more I see this, the more footage I see from this and gameplay and all that stuff, it does look a little bit better, and it's starting to grow on me a little bit more. Because when I played this game, I was mainly just in the city. I wasn't really in the patches of grass or anywhere that was environmentally like fun. It was also in the demos I played, it was dark. Like the game was dark. And I feel like you can just see a lot of the assets and things better when it's not dark in the game. So the more I see of this, the better I feel. But obviously, it seems like everyone's main problem seems to be the graphics and the lack of innovation. But the fact that, some people gave it 100%, like that's crazy. I wonder what BGC gave other games. Super Mario Galaxy, they gave 100%. They gave Dragon Drive 60%. Come on now. They gave Donkey Kong Bonanza 80%. Okay, so now, see, this is what I mean by games are subjective or objective, or again, whatever you want to say. I think Donkey Kong Bonanza being 80% and Pokemon being 100% from them is just like, that's just a crazy difference. But you really can't tell how good a game's going to be based on the reviews, and that's why you should err on the side of caution again for these reviews. It could be all 100% for you, but it could be 60% for me. I think if I were to rank it, it might be 70%, but we'll have to wait and see what the game gauge has to say on the main channel. So be sure to stay locked in with those notifications on my main channel on Russ Vandy 1. I'm going to do a full-blown Pokemon Legends Z-A review, and I'm going to do my first impressions of this game as soon as I get to play it on the second channel here. So stay tuned for that as well. I've already technically had my first impressions at PAX West, but still, I'll give my other full-blown impressions, how I feel about the first hour I've played it or so. But hey, you gotta let me know, are you excited for this game? Do you think these reviews are fair? Do you think some of them are unfair? And where did you think it was going to land based on where it did land? That 80% right now, but I'm sure that could go up as more people get the game and as people review it. And obviously, we still don't have the user reviews yet because, nobody has the game yet. So yeah, let me know what you think about this. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. See you later.